This is probably of everything that I have ever communicated openly with an open mic, which is an open heart, right? You want to protect your heart shield, you know, the tribal shield. How about the shield, the crystal shield that protects it all? The entire universal and galactic template. Well, I was, even though this stuff is dated, when I don't have some other things that I'm doing, when I'm not doing direct energetic work with the song out there, granted, okay, the magnetosphere, even though I can hear everything that's going on, you know, PSI, pressure sensitive instruments, acoustics, an acoustic instrument, we're sound instruments, we're musicians, pressure washer, ecosphere chamber. I stopped the video that I was listening to. What I'm trying to say is that even though when I share things with other people, just like when I was on my way into Hilo today, there are a couple of people up front in the van. It's a van that I go in with other older folks, seniors, if you will. Okay. So there's a lady named Glenda who is very much, if you will, information system management literate or computer literate. So that allows me to use what we call that language, the language of information sciences. She speaks English, I speak English. So what I share with her and the way that I communicate with her is I tell her I normally work with children because they're easier to work with because they're already like in the explorer mode, free mode, magic mode, right? They haven't been hit with all the programming with the API and network realities, right? Because this is sort of how it is for me, even when I was at 4 years of age, that I acknowledged, that I still acknowledge today. And Asha Diane brought that point out in her video, which is Asha Diane, and it was a video which was #1 in the series called Arthurian, Cathara Healing and Arthurian Roundtables. So I'm very familiar with that. But when I share information about who I am, based on what I've learned over time space, she made a very critical comment, and it's like, bang. That's dead center. That's like right over the target on a universal and a galactic level. It's just the truth of it. And those of us that are androgynous know that. Okay? It's just like this afternoon, there's a guy that buzzes up and around Hilo on a little scooter with a German army helmet, of all things, right? But he's a Pacific Islander, right? And most of the Pacific Islanders that I've met and known that are my friends here on this island are very peaceful people. They prefer to be in a state of peace and harmony, right? They're not out using their energy to deliberately be bullies, to hold everybody else's energy captive, like others are in this universe, right? They got to have their way, right? Technology, right? The inception of technology, the exception of technology and consciousness. So I've covered how consciousness technology competes against other consciousness technology, right? Because they don't want to be outclassed, if you will, or outmaneuvered, or somebody else's technology is taking off on such an accelerated rate of speed that they're never going to be able to catch up. We got to make sure they never get there, because otherwise they're going to be able to control what we can't control, because now they're free. Welcome to Crystal Technologies. Okay. That's what scares them. So what happens is they want to control what they can't be. And the reason they can't be what that is, which is androgynous, which is in perfect balance with zero, which is called zero resistance. That's the primal and light sound fields. Okay? When they've lost their ability to release every single electron at the highest accelerated rate of speed, because their state of consciousness is in the highest state of giving away energy. Then they're running an eternal blast furnace where every atom is perfectly balanced, which means the water worlds are perfectly balanced, which means the consciousness, which is on fire, giving away energy, is on fire to give away energy. That means they've chosen to serve forever on behalf of the one, which is a primal sound and light field. Okay? So that's why sometimes when I talk to other people, how many people do you know that have been 100% healed? Back to the original template. If they're still holding on to an electron, that means they haven't healed 100%, have they? Because it means they still live in fear of holding on to energy, even if it's one electron. So I've shared before how hyperdrive, hypersensitive, can detect anybody holding on to one electron. Remember, I talked about that, about the resistance game between an inverter and a torque converter. Okay, that's why the difference in the speed ratio harmonics between the right side and the left side are a little bit different. Okay? Getting stuff out of memory, right? Loss of an electron creates an acid and alkaline. Right? So when this guy had come up to me and he had remembered me, he runs around town and he sells marijuana. So he came up to me and he says, "Hey, I got some really good Maui Wowie." Well, I'm familiar with Maui Wowie. I was living on the island of Kauai back in 1972 and 73 when that became a popular DH9 receptor activator. Right, and so I said, no, I don't have that kind of money, but I certainly would not be opposed to trying some Maui Wowie just to see what kind of strain, what the DNA has to say that my consciousness is going to experience by activating in me, which means all of my units of consciousness will experience the consciousness of the plant. But her remark is critical. Because that's what it is. I tried to quantify that once. Okay, on every fractal that's ever been lost, by every race that's ever been seeded in the entire universal time matrix. And try and measure that on a density level between the primal sound field and density 1 and 2. Catch my drift? And so that's why when I'm in this house or wherever I go, I experience a lot of what I call thought form algorithms that I know they're not mine, because remember, now I'm back to 4 years of age. Anything less than what eternity is isn't what I am. So imagine how many I ams in the mirror that I'm experiencing aren't experiencing what I am. So now I'm experiencing what they're experiencing, but they are everything that I am, because there isn't any separation between what that is and what I am. So in order for me to restore what it is that I'm aware of, that I'm always giving eternal love to, I have to heal them. Otherwise, they're still holding on to electrons, which is consciousness. So they're holding energy captive, from the micro to the macro. Dare not give it up. Oh, don't want to give it up. Remember I gave the example of, what's his name, Spanos, the guy that owns the LA Chargers, worth billions of dollars? How many electrons is that? Held within his biometric account. Imagine how much healing that being needs before he would ever release all those electrons back out into the circulation libraries of the planetary grid network. Right? So this is one of the reasons why my friendship with Michelle Martin is so dear to me, I could cry. And because she's another androgynous being, and knowing when she mentioned to me that she has her partner's androgynous, I thought, wow, that's like heaven next door, okay? So when I would put video up, she watched one of mine, she goes, "You're on fire." Another androgynous being knows when you're on fire, because of how much love you have in your heart. That's because you have so much energy to give away, to heal others that don't experience it. So my goal was always to end Star Wars forever, as if they never occurred. Like doing a hard reset, just like you do a hard reset on a drive motor, on a magnetic drive motor, like on a planetary drive motor. You know, the core of Earth, the center point of that magneto, the iron core, right? Yeah. Remember what Patty Bessard said? Guy had to keep hitting me over the head and remind me, love is the law. They forgot. They don't remember. What do you mean they don't remember? Are they experiencing what love is? Okay. Are they experiencing the primal sound field? Are they experiencing an eternal blast furnace within their own oversoul matrix? Right? So many years ago, I privately realized to myself, well, how many other Manus do we have on the planet out of 8 billion people? That's actually a known. Remember, what's his name? The guy who was the Secretary of Defense. Oh, God. He talked about unknown knowns. Right? So, for those of you that even participate to hear what my microphone, that's where the rubber actually hits the pavement when you get down to Star Wars and the original Universal and Galactic Template. What it means to experience balance in your own state of mind, because your atoms are cycling in balance, you know, between the two nuclear reaction states. Because she talked about, we live in a universe. That was her words. We live in a polarized universe. And you know why it's polarized? Because they're not experiencing being one. They're gifting love to you forever to experience eternity on fire, giving away energy. That's why. So then you might want to ask the most self-evident question: how much of this universe has to be healed? How much of every universe has to be healed? How many are there that have yet to be healed, that are still running around, conscious and aware of themselves, lost in space, polarized? Right? I know. Coming together to be one. Anyway, I thought I'd share that because it's probably the most important thing that I've ever experienced in this particular life book that she echoed with her microphone. And I go, yeah, that's Grand Central. That's ground zero. That's 0 point. That's ground zero. That's where the rubber hits the pavement on the crux of the problem. And all the councils know that. They're not going to lie to you about that. So anyway, have a good night. I love you all. Be good to yourselves. We love you all.